Jazzcast Pros.
All right, so let's quickly jump into it. When you decided to start your own business or when you're thinking about starting your own business and you're a mom, it's very, very important that you have the long-term goal in focus at all times. And what I mean by that is that you are doing this to gain back time with your children, to free up your time, to be free. You're free at last.
Welcome back to the Beauty Boss Millionaire podcast with daily on-the-go episodes packed with testimonies and business tips to help you create financial freedom through entrepreneurship. Hosted by the owner of Fracassi Lashes and the Blow Dry Lounge, the Beauty Boss Millionaire herself, Felicia Fracassi.
Welcome back to Beauty Boss Millionaire. I'm your host, Felicia Fracassi, and I am going to talk with you today about the beauty of being a mother and running a business. Now, we've kind of been on this subject a lot because it's something that we do need to have these conversations. The objective of today's episode is really to explain the long-term plan of all this and why you're doing this as a mother, running a business, and what's the whole point of all this. Because sometimes you can lose your focus. The whole point of this, running a business, setting it up, sacrificing everything in the very beginning is because towards the end, you're going to be free as a bird. You're going to have systems and procedures in place so you can actually spend time being a mom. The reason why I know that this can work is because I've done it. I was always gone away from my children. I was doing the 9-to-5s. I was just stressed out all the time. I couldn't really fit in this little cookie cutter lifestyle that this corporate America wanted for me. And even though I did it, it was very stressful. I remember having to leave the children at times, with people I like, family members I didn't really want to leave them with. Not that they did anything wrong, but it's just like, it's not you. And as a mother, you have to work quickly. You have to work expeditiously. Time is valuable. I do not give my time to a lot of people on purpose. I don't, because I know the value of my time. I'm not going to be caught up in any type of drama. You won't hear me on the phone call gossiping about anything because leaders don't even talk about that. Leaders focus on solution. I might hear of a problem, but I'm going to quickly go back in business mode and go back and focus on what's really important, what's paying my bills, which is my efforts into the business. So you're not going to see me on the phone, worrying about what someone else is doing or, into the local gossip. That's the last thing on my mind. And hopefully that's the last thing on your mind as well. The first thing that's on my mind is, okay, I've got a certain amount of time before the kids get out of school. How am I going to attack this day wisely? And who am I not going to spend more than 15 minutes on the phone with? I don't even take a lot of the phone calls that come in. I don't respond back to every text quickly because I have to focus on what I'm doing. And at first, I never understood people that were like this. When I was younger, I did not understand people that did not text back right away. It seemed almost like it was rude or like they weren't thinking about you or that, they were just being, acting stuck up. But if you were to take a moment to step into these people's world, like my world, there's so much coming at you that you can't respond right away. You cannot respond. I mean, sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 days to get to people that really need my attention because when you're running a business, you're dealing with emails, phone calls, you're running your business. People that don't have nothing to do, they just want to text back all day, back and forth, pictures, laughing at stuff. Look at this video. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, go to this page. Can you believe what someone said? Like, nobody got time for that. We do not have time for that. We're running a successful company. And what we have time for is how we're going to make our money and feed our family. So I want you to really kind of have those goals in mind, have those thought processes, because being a part of the local gossip is going to get you nowhere. Being on social media too long will get you nowhere. I don't even really like to be on social media. Sometimes I'll post it if I'm on vacation. I'll post a picture when I get back just because I don't really like to post my whereabouts because people are crazy. Yes, you have to think like that because you never know. When you're running a business, there's so many other people watching you, watching what you're doing. While you're gone one place, they could be trying to rob you in the place of your business. So be very careful with what you put out there. When it comes to motherhood and running a business, your time is limited because you have only a certain amount of time for those kids are either going to get out of daycare or they're going to get out of school or they're getting out of wherever who's watching them because the person who's watching them, they're tired of your children too. And now you're going to have them back in your presence and you have to make sure you give 100% attention and detail to them. So one of the things that I've really tried to really stick to is limiting my time with people that really, don't take this the wrong way. I'm going to try to explain this in the best way possible. You want to limit your conversations with people or things that really don't have any value or get you anywhere or full of drama, or there's like multiple things that go under this umbrella. Limit your conversations with people that are time wasters. They don't ever get anywhere. They just like to complain. I limit my phone calls to less than 5 minutes unless it's something extremely important, but I really don't talk on the phone a lot. I'm a texter because it's quicker and it only takes a second of my time versus going on long conversations, agreeing to stuff you don't want to agree to. It can get really, really crazy when you're busy. It really can. And you have to really be more strategic about things. And you want to always make sure you're getting the most value out of your time, because before you know it, it's going to be 2-3 o'clock and the kids need to be picked up, or you've got to run off and do something else with the business, or you just never know what's going to happen. I always say work as if you have 10 other people waiting for you. And I say that because in my type of business, the unwise person would say, oh, I got all this time in the world. I don't have another client. Let me just take my time on this. Let me just stop, scroll on Instagram. Let me do this. Let me do that. The wise, efficient worker like me, who I've been like this half of my life, is like, okay, I don't really know what's going to happen next. So let me get this done now so I don't have to worry if something comes up. Like, for example, yesterday, I was in my house. I was doing something for the radio station. I was getting ready with my notes, my research. I was doing my production. I had a call I scheduled at 5 o'clock previous. I had a meeting that I scheduled at 4 o'clock. And I get a call literally at 2:30. My daughter calls me and she says, Mommy, well, I forgot to tell you that we have a track meet at this park, and instead of the nanny picking us up at a certain time, we need to get out of here earlier. And I'm thinking to myself, well, nanny doesn't really get out until 4 o'clock to come get them at 5 o'clock, which is going to throw her off because she's in college. So it was just like a scheduling error that just came out of nowhere. She's like, oh yeah, they said they sent an email. I looked at my emails. I didn't see anything. So immediately I had to like jump into action, stop what I was doing, which I had a whole plan of what I was going to do. And I had to run up to the school and grab my children because I knew then. And I told the nanny like, hey, I see that there was a scheduling error. You probably didn't see it, which she didn't. And she was like, oh my God, I'm still in class. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll get the kids. I kind of wanted to see the kids anyways because I had been gone for 3 weeks, y'all. Can you believe it? I was gone for 3 weeks. I had a surgery. I was not able to see my children for 3 weeks. I got in late last night flying in, and they were so happy to see me. So I was like, don't worry, Milan, I'll get you. So I got my daughter and I got my son. We came home. We stopped at the grocery store and we came home, and then I was able to make it to my meeting on time. But the whole point of this is that what if I had just worked like, okay, I've got all this time in the world, but I intentionally planned my life for rooms of error. Leave rooms for margins of error. So basically, leave a buffer so in case something happens, you can be prepared. Even the worst mistake you can ever make as a mom is, oh, I'll just get gas in the morning. Oh God, that's like the worst curse of the morning. You're running late now, the kids, and you got to get gas. It just can be a whole disaster. So I've kind of really simplified my life to make sure that I can be an effective business leader, a mother, and a really good wise woman to be able to lead my family properly. I'm always planning ahead, and you should too, because you never know what's going to happen. I'm always putting money aside for their school, their scholarship, their college tuition. Their tuition is very expensive. They go to a really good school. And I say that with pride because I remember there were times where they just went to a regular public school, and I was disappointed with the way that the public schools were dealing with the children. And it's free. It's a free education. So they're willing to give. Unfortunately, some teachers only give minimum. They don't really care. And they're just, the school they go to now, everyone has really high levels of degrees. They have a really good solid structure. This school is rated top in the world. So I've had to make a lot of sacrifices to get them to this point. So I can say this humbly, that I'm proud to say that my kids have the best top of the line education now. And they also have people that work with them out after school and outside of school, because nothing wrong with public education. I went to public school, and then at one point in time, my mom put me in private school because she felt like I really needed more, and she wanted more attention on kids that wanted to learn, not just kids that were forced to be there because their parents forced them to be there. Kids in private school, sometimes the parent, they want to be there more sometimes. I'm not saying all the time. I don't want to get myself and stereotype everyone, but with public education, you're going to get all different walks of life of people that just maybe don't really want to be there. But with public education, things sometimes go a little differently. And I really have sacrifice everything in my power to make sure that these children could live the life that they're living now. Or even if your kids do go to public school, it's fine. Just make sure that they're being given the attention that they need, because my son specifically needs more attention than a normal child. He needs things slowed down a little bit for him because he really wants to make sure he understands it, and then he will excel. And everyone's different. You have to do what's best for your family. Please don't judge me for my family's needs. I know what my family needs and I go get it done. So that's just my situation. This is my truth. This is my story. And everything's different for everyone. So, it all depends on your family. But the most important thing that I can say is really just keep in mind the long-term goal that you have for the family, which is to be able to put them in a better place, to be able to give them extra attention, to be able to put them through college, trips. They should be able to live the life to the fullest, and because you've prepared yourself for this moment. And I remember when I first had my children, I was 20, I think I was 26 when I had my first child. I knew that I had to make sure this child had a better life than what I had. So I've done everything in my power to prepare for the long-term goal, which is for my son to live a good life and also understand what it's like to be a hard worker. Because I didn't want a child that was spoiled. I wanted a child that understood hard work, dedication, and knowing how to eventually, if he wanted to open his own business, he knew how to do it because he watched me. And, my son has watched me. My daughter's watched me. They kind of get it now. They can probably run a business really well. I don't believe in spoiling children. I never have been, never will. I believe in making them earn every dollar because I don't want them lazy. I believe in making them work because I want to make sure that they can be self-sufficient when I'm long gone. That's a true mother right there, to be able to raise up a child that they can be so independent and stand on their own 2 feet when you're gone and make moral, sound decisions, not be lazy, not just lay around the house, not just be on these games, but they can get out in the world and be able to produce and make money for their family when they get older. So remember the long-term goal, that you're building up this human being to be so great. Remember the long-term goal to free up your time. Remember these long-term goals that you won't really see in the very beginning because you're just busy doing a million things. But here I am at the very end of the game, and I'm telling you how the game works. Everything you're doing now, starting off and getting everything going, is so that you have a retirement plan. We're going to get into that next, on how to effectively save and run everything as a mother and how to retire successfully. I hope all this has helped, and thanks for tuning in to Beauty Boss Millionaire.
That's it for today. Tune in tomorrow for the Beauty Boss Millionaire podcast. And don't forget to follow the Beauty Boss Millionaire, Felicia Fracassi, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Beauty Boss Millionaire.
Also, if these are really helpful, please review, rate, and share, or just send the link to someone who may need this. See you tomorrow.